our show. We have a wonderful show again today. You're on the college campus with Real Estate 101. I'm Catherine Knightsby.
Daniel Salino here.
Right, my trusted partner and co-pilot in the show. So we have a wonderful guest today. It's David Waldschmidt. He is a wonderful lender with Academy Mortgage. And he's also our Zillow partner. So any corrections he will make to us to his own introduction. But we want to quickly go to the questions. Thank you, Dave, for joining us.
Thank you for the invitation, Catherine. I'm excited to be here. It's always good to share what's going on, especially the way the market's going today. It's just going crazy, isn't it?
Absolutely. And some people are saying, don't even try to say you know what's going on. But we do have some important questions that I think will comfort our viewers and our prospects that want to purchase a home. I think we can take away some of the fear by having a knowledgeable guest such as yourself. And that's the value of the show. So Daniel, without further ado, would you like to ask the first question?
Definitely. Thank you, Catherine. And Dave, now my first question for you is, can you give us a little introduction to your background so our audience could get to know you a little bit more?
Sure. So I really approach this from a financial planning perspective. I'm not a financial advisor in the classic sense of the term, but that's my roots. I came from financial advising. I worked with small businesses. I had many clients up in Chico where I actually met my wife there in Chico. She worked for a chiropractor client of mine. And so I had many small businesses that were clients of mine that I helped with their finances. And I found that one of the single biggest mistakes they made over time was managing their debt poorly, whether it was how they bought their cars, whether it was how they used the credit cards, whether it was using a HELOC to buy something for their business, and crossing over personal finances and business finances. And then I realized that when I was working with the employees of my clients, that they were making the same mistakes. It didn't matter if they were self-employed or if they were employed, that people really needed to get a better grasp of how do you manage your finances? How do you put a strategy together to get from where you are to where you want to be? And in our case, it's how do you get from not being a homeowner to being a homeowner? What's that path look like? And there's a path that can be put together to help them get there. But the path is unique. A path, Catherine, for you, if you're a first-time home buyer, would be unique for you.
Daniel is. Address it to Daniel because we're not getting to a first home. I'm way past that age.
I would love to help you with that, Daniel. So when I realized that after working with finances and taxes and investments and insurance, I wanted to focus on one thing. Rather than being involved with everything, I wanted to do one thing really well. And I made the decision to focus on the things that I could make the biggest difference in, and that's helping people manage their debt wisely.
Wow.
And you see when people do that well, they're able to leverage real estate and they're able to actually create financial stability and then turn financial stability into financial, just independence and really move the needle in that direction. But it takes strategy and a plan to get there. And a mortgage is a big part of that. We also saw, if you look back into 2008, 2009, we saw what happened when people didn't manage their debt wisely. Horrible effect. So we want to be really wise about that. So that's how I approach it. When we sit down with a client and talk about how do you get from where you are to where you want to be, how do you go from not being a homeowner to being a homeowner, we put that path together for them in such a way that it helps them build financial security along the way.
Wow, that's so very powerful. And we did a transaction together, you and I, where I felt like you really came alongside the client who had complicated finances. And I know that also we have a situation now where people are again behind in their payments on their house. So, and by the way, if any of our clients know anybody like that, we are very confidential. We will never expose or embarrass you. Please feel free to reach out to us, right, Dave?
Absolutely, very confidential.
What's the next question? Thank you for that answer.
Sure.
So Dave, my next question for you is I wanted to ask if you could go in depth a little bit about what loan packages do you and your company specialize in and have available?
Got it. So we have, it's a great question, Daniel, thank you. Every program that's available through Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac available. Along with that, we have 50 different investors that we work with that we can broker loans through. So loan structures that maybe wouldn't fit into Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac's box of loans that they do, we have 50 other investors to take care of all kinds of finance situations for different kinds of borrowers situations.
Dave,
a
I'm
good
sorry.
example.
It sounds like the lawnmower is mowing the lawn here on the college campus. I hope that
Oh
doesn't
my God.
interfere with our sound.
Oh, I can hear him on the
Yeah,
background
because we
there.
have these beautiful lawns here, you see. We
That-
have to
that's
keep them
that's
green and well mowed.
that's the beauty of live, right? It's
Yes,
live.
thank you.
So all of those programs are available. But what's important, what I would say, if I were to point out one thing, Daniel, it would be the process that we use. It's not just the product. Many people have access, many lenders have access to very similar products. But what's the process that we take a client through to help them get, I'll call it offer ready? How do we get them to be offer ready? Yeah. And so the first step is to really go over what their options are. And I provide everybody with a total cost analysis that shows them different options that will work with their financial situation. Every time a client will choose one of those four and say, I like this one the best. And then we'll refine that. So I want to put that power into their hands so they know what their options are.
And you're an incredible communicator. I mean, we just switched to you as our Zillow partner. And I want to say to anyone who is our Zillow partner that they should call Dave right away, because we've just found that you have incredible communication skills. And I think that's something we've missed with people. They just don't have the time or patience to try to talk to people and find out the story. And and that really matters.
Well, I appreciate that. And I've got a great team. I wish I could say it was all me, but I've been very fortunate, very blessed to have a great team to work in concert with me to make sure that things don't fall through the cracks. There's a lot of moving parts to put a loan together. There's a lot of moving parts to put a real estate transaction together. And I rely very heavily on the team that I've put together to help me manage clients who are pre-approved and looking, and then switching gears to look at clients that are actually in contract. There's two different sections that we work on. And so I've got different people on my team helping each area out. And it's very important. And that communication along the way is so important to help keep everybody relaxed. So the second part of what we do with this process, not only do we do the front end and we really take a good look at what their options are, we take their loan program and we send it to underwriting before they go into contract. We take a look at their income. We take a look at their credit and credit history. We take
right?
Absolutely. That's not just a pre-approval that I do. It's a pre-approval that our underwriters have done. So we call this fast track approval. And the reason for that is now that we've got this done, we can actually close in 15 days or less because all the heavy lifting has been done on the underwriting.
Wonderful.
Matter of fact, my average is 10 days from the time we go into contract to the time we're ready to send the documents to title. And it's not uncommon for a listing agent or for a buyer to say, oh, we haven't got the moving truck yet. We're not ready. It's, so that's a great.
I think that happened to us. Yeah. But the thing is here is that it takes a lot of stress off the agent too. If there's any agents watching this, I want to just say that it's taken a lot of stress off to have these new smooth landings that before we spent a lot of time worrying about. I taught Daniel what all the things to worry about. It hasn't helped him at all, I'm sorry to say. I just try to share the stress. But the loans now aren't the way they used to be. We used to have to worry about so many things that we don't have to worry about now. So you've taken that off our plate. Thank God for that. Okay, what do you have next, Daniel?
Well, Dave, my last question, funny enough, was kind of covered a little bit, but I'd like to go a little bit more in detail. What makes you, Dave Waldschmidt, stand out as a loan officer compared to your competition?
Well, let's tie together.
Yes,
Thank you
personally, yes, and you do stand out.
So I think I'd answer that by saying it's going to be a blend of some of the things we've already talked about. Taking the time to look at options, approaching it from a financial perspective. Financial literacy is so important. And so how does a person what happens when they become a homeowner? Do they have a budget now that they can handle the maintenance that comes along with owning a home? Are they still able to invest? How do we make sure they got their emergency fund put together? So all these things are part of the conversation to make sure that a buyer, a new home buyer, which has never done this before, can go in being a homeowner with confidence. So by taking that time on the front end, it really helps by the time they go into contract and they find a home and they're ready to buy a home, their confidence level is much, much higher. So along with that, I work with 21 different loan officers in 5 different offices. So not only am I a loan officer, but I oversee a number of branches and loan officers.
Yeah, I've seen your events. Yeah.
So if I don't know an answer to a question, and there are times when that happens, I've got a whole team of people that I can select from and say, hey, here's a loan. And a great example would be, we've done a lot of work up in Paradise, California to help some of those who lost.
Yeah, I just stayed a few years ago in Paradise. I'm really hoping that community will come back.
And we have a one-time close program to help people go from a dirt lot to a home. Most people
you can sell a dirt lot? Can you sell a dirt lot? Can we get a
there needs to be a home that's going to be built on it. So it's not just
there's a plan, as long as there's a plan.
Right.
Oh, wow.
So we've got several people on our team that do that kind of lending a lot, and they're pros at it. And while I could do it, I want to put your clients with pros. I want to make sure they have the best experience possible. So not only can I take care of them, I have a team that can help as well.
And one of our clients recently asked me, when it's something that you and I were speaking to together, asked me about a mobile home.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys do those manufactured homes, or is that?
Yes, we do.
You do? You seriously do?
We seriously do.
Oh, that really helps, because the only other people we know is a lender, it's an online lender. And you must identify the home first, you must deal with the website, you don't have a connection to an actual person.
Right.
And, and I just want to tell our viewers, you might not understand why any of this matters, but literally the anxiety and stress for a first home buyer to have to walk through all these ideas and all these hoops without somebody to talk to. In my experience, 17 years, it's too overwhelming. You're not really paying more or less for that to have somebody skilled and experienced like Dave to talk to and to help make wise choices. It's just about somebody who actually has your back and your best interest at heart, as opposed to somebody who doesn't really care at all or doesn't know what they're doing. And that turns out to be a really big deal. We got into a mortgage meltdown, financial crisis years ago, based on a lot of these issues that came up around unethical, immoral, inexperienced, not knowledgeable people in this industry. And as opposed to what Dave is talking about, which is wealth building, security, benefit of families, happiness, all these things that are available through the experience of home ownership, which is what we're offering.
So there's something you said there that I want to piggyback on, Catherine, because you're hitting on so many things that are important there.
Thank you.
One of the things as a buyer that you want to do, you want to work with a local realtor. You don't want to work with an online realtor. You don't want to. Real estate is hyper local. It's not just local, it's hyper local. So you've got to work with a realtor who knows the turf, who knows that area, who knows other realtors.
Oh, you're so right, Dave. I was just thinking about that with Daniel. We have a listing very close to his home where he grew up in the area, and he was there earlier today. And I was envisioning Daniel in the home talking to the seller, and I was thinking how it's kind of like boots on the ground, because Daniel lives nearby. He understands the structure. He understands the issues that the seller's going through. I mean, there's just a lot of that, where it is hyper local, and we do have understanding of structures and builds and what loans would work and what kind of people would be comfortable, what they might look for in a school or what they might look for in a church. We're very open-minded. We need people to tell us those things, but once they tell us, we can find them what they want.
Right.
And not only that,
and the second, this
team too.
We have a team. That's right. We have a team also.
Just as Dave, Catherine and I manage and work in our team.
And it's an amazing experience to be on a team with such a wonderful person as Daniel. He's brought so much to my business. People don't really understand yet. We're not at our potential yet. People don't really understand what we have. We have an amazing, valuable service. We really do, because I have the knowledge and the background, training Daniel every day, and Daniel's so friendly and so supportive, and a lot of people just want to have a gentleman such as Daniel come and help, because he's a gentleman, and you can see the way he dresses and the way he talks. He's always been a gentleman. I've known Daniel many, many years. And character matters in this business. Character
So
matters.
now I feel bad because I'm not wearing a tie. You complimented him on wearing his tie. No, I'm teasing you. I'm teasing.
Well, your tie is in your soul. You have a tie-in in your soul, and that's
there
what
was there was a time in my life when I first started, when I was up in Chico, and I felt like I had to dress for success. We've all read those books, Dress for Success.
Yes.
And when I was in my mid-20s, when I first got started, I looked like I was 12. So I had to do everything to make me look older. Well, now with gray hair. With the gray hair, I don't need to work hard to look older.
Like that gray hair. I referred a deal recently out to somebody, and they referred it to somebody too young in the office, and it didn't work. And they ended up going to the owner, who told me J. Grover, which is a commercial business. It was they're selling tires, tire company. And the seller's a real estate agent, retired. And Sandra wanted somebody with gray hair. The gray hair in the room made her feel comfortable because she's a knowledgeable retired real estate agent herself, and that's a value. But Daniel's energy and his hard work and his want to know has brought passion and boldness to my company. That with whatever aging difficulties I've had,
you're fortunate to have Daniel on your team, because I know the importance of having good teammates where you complement each other. Your strengths are unique, and so are Daniel's. His strengths are unique. And when you have a team where you allow each other to focus on what you bring to the table that's unique to you, where your strengths are, that creates a complementary partnership. That's the best way to build.
And having each other's back, and and never assuming that, if somebody says something negative about one of the team members, just to really understand that people are where they are. We're doing Zillow now, and that's a situation where people aren't really very loyal, and we look to create these relationships. I met our mutual client on Zillow. Now she's become a very close friend. So it's just that we're trying to not waste each other's time or gas money or your time, and being very transparent and honest. Like, this one's not working out. This one will. They're going to let us be of service. They want to work with us,
and that's okay.
Don't.
And that's okay. You're going to find some who are just looking, and they're not ready to move yet for one reason or another. And then you've got others who are right.
You just don't get it.
But that's okay.
Which is hard to understand and hard to believe. But
well, thank you.
It's been so wonderful and fun. We do have to wrap it up. I don't know how many minutes this is, but I really want to thank our guests for watching every minute of our episode. We just think it's so wonderful and fun, and we're so proud to be associated with powerful, important, experienced people that you could have on your team, such as Dave and Daniel and myself. We just really hope that you'll reach out to us. Tell your friends and family about us. If you are not ready, that's okay too. Just reach out to us. We would never be offended. We could even go there and interview for the job at any time. We'd love to show you the wealth of what we offer. So, Dave, thanks for being on the show today.
You're welcome. And if anybody wants to look me up on social, on any of the platforms, I'm there. If you'd like a roadmap, if you'd say, just like Catherine, like you said, maybe you're not ready yet, but someday in the future you'd like to build, let's put that roadmap together. So when you are ready, it'll help you put a plan together to help you get ready a little bit sooner. So just let us know. We'll be glad to help.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Call us on our cell phones. All information is right here. And we're just super excited to be of service. We know the market's unpredictable at this moment, but we feel that we have a team that can support you to make the right choices that will be of financial benefit to you and your family going forward for many generations. So thanks again for watching the show, and please watch all our shows, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us. It's real estate. Take this journey with me.